There is a particular kind of erasure that requires planning, paperwork, engineers, years of deliberate effort. It is not war, not flood, not fire. It is something colder than all of those. It is the decision to drown a town on purpose. Across America, beneath the still surfaces of some of the most visited, most photographed, most celebrated lakes in the country, entire towns are sleeping. Churches, courthouses, cemeteries, schools where children once learned to read. All of it submerged, not by accident, not by nature's indifference, but by a signature on a document and the slow turn of a dam's gate. These are the dead cities under America's most famous lakes. And the water above them is not as calm as it looks. South Carolina. In the late 1920s, South Carolina needed power. The solution was the Saluda River. Dam it, flood the valley, and generate electricity for a growing state. Simple, in theory. In practice, it meant something else entirely. 70,000 acres of land went underwater. Entire communities, Prosperity, Haltiwanger's store, Rocky Branch, and others, were marked for flooding. Roughly 5,000 people were displaced. They were given notice and, in some cases, modest compensation. Their churches were not. Their cemeteries were not at first. Their roads, their mills, their small-town post offices, gone. Lake Murray opened in 1930 and was, at the time, the largest earth dam in the world. It became a recreational destination almost immediately. People boated and fished over the rooftops of the communities that had made way for them. On days when the water is low and clear, locals report seeing old stone walls rising from the lake floor, chimneys reaching toward the light, road lines still faintly visible in the sediment. A whole valley, suspended in time beneath the water, while the lake above it hosts summer vacations. Georgia Lake Lanier is one of the most visited lakes in the United States. 11 million people come to its shores every year. They swim, they water ski, they rent houseboats, and watch the Georgia sun drop behind the hills. It is, by every measure, a success story of American infrastructure. It is also, by every measure, built on the graves of a community that did not want to leave. When the Army Corps of Engineers dammed the Chattahoochee River in the 1950s to create Lake Lanier, they flooded communities throughout Hall and Forsyth counties. Hundreds of families were displaced, many of them black families who received little to no compensation and were given almost no time to relocate. At least 6 communities, including Oscarville and parts of Gainesville, were submerged. So were roads, farms, mills, and cemeteries, some of which were relocated improperly or not at all. For years, divers have explored what lies beneath Lake Lanier. They find roads, bridges. The old Gainesville-Dahlonega Road, still intact on the lake floor. And the stories that surround the lake have grown accordingly. Lake Lanier has one of the highest drowning rates of any recreational lake in the country. Whether that is coincidence, geography, or something else entirely, locals have their own answers. The lake does not offer explanations. It simply holds what was given to it and says nothing. Nevada Lake Mead is the largest reservoir in the United States by water volume, or it was before decades of drought began pulling the waterline down. And as the water receded in recent years, something unexpected happened. The lake began giving things back. The town of St. Thomas, Nevada, was flooded by Lake Mead in 1938 when Hoover Dam was completed. Its residents had been leaving for years as the water crept upward, and the last holdout, a man named Hugh Lord, rowed away from his home in a boat in the final days. The town disappeared beneath the surface and stayed there for decades. Then the drought came. By the 2000s and 2010s, as water levels dropped dramatically, St. Thomas began to re-emerge. Foundations, concrete slabs, the outlines of streets, an entire erased town, slowly unburied by the receding lake, a ghost town, rising from its watery grave in real time, in one of the most visited landscapes in America. Tourists who came to see Hoover Dam found themselves walking through the ruins of a town that had been underwater for 70 years.